I'm Jared Haynes, and this is Rogue Outdoors. Today I want to tell you why I think the Exo K4 with the 5,000 bag on it is one of the best hunting packs on the market today. First, let's start with the Exo K4 frame. So this thing is an absolute workhorse, and there's going to be a few different reasons for that. When Exo decided to design the new K4 frame, they chose to expand the sizing options to make sure that nobody gets lost in between. And to do that, they added a couple more belt sizes, so they vary all the way from extra small to extra large, which is going to cover below a 30-inch waist, all the way up to above a 42-inch waist. And then they also changed the frame sizes to incorporate four different frame sizes, which will go anywhere from 5 foot 2 inches approximately to somebody who's above 6 foot 4 inches tall, which gives you a huge variety of body types, but also mixing and matching because all the belt sizes will fit on all the frame sizes. So that way, if you have a small waist but a longer torso, you can make that work. Now I am 5'10", 145 pounds, and I went with the 25-inch frame and the small sized belt. My waist measures in at about a 31.5 inch, right at the proper measuring spot that they have on the Exo website. And boy, does this frame and hip belt fit me perfect, just as the website said it would according to their measurements. Another reason that the Exo K4 packs weight so well is going to be the combination of the hip belt and lumbar support. So the lumbar pad that they have is a fairly wide design, but it's a fairly narrow hip belt, which means it's not going to feel like a board pushing against your back, and it also doesn't push the pack off of your back extremely far, which is getting that load away from being right up on you. This thing keeps the load still close to your back without adding that extra pressure. They have some stippling or dimpling on this pad, which makes sure that it suctions in and holds tight as you're walking, but it's a kind of a rubber dot. It's not a sticky rubber, which means it doesn't irritate the skin as you have those heavy loads, and it's just, sitting on there nice and tight. And then the foam that they use in this would be a mild density, if I had to describe it any way, and that means that it is squishy enough that it kind of sets in and curves with your body, but it's also dense enough to make sure that none of the frame or any of that kind of stuff, you don't feel that poking against your body. Now the other piece of the puzzle is obviously going to be that hip belt. Well, Exo has decided to go a different route than most all backpack manufacturers in the hunting market, and they've extended the hip belt down to where it's a lot longer profile than most others on the market. Most of them come through about right here. This lower portion I've found has been extremely important in stabilizing those heavy loads and then distributing that weight throughout the whole glute. Instead of pinpointing, a lot of packs, when you get that heavy weight, they start to push down and dig and kind of get right on top of your hip bone, right behind it. There's kind of a pocket area right there. And a lot of packs can irritate that. This spreads that load out so that it's working more of your glute muscle than just pinpointing. It also stabilizes the load left to right as you're walking because there's more surface for that hip belt to spread that load out on. The other important thing they did with the hip belt is they used a nice soft foam so that it's able to cup around your hip, and it really suctions in there and gives you a strong, stable platform to build the whole pack off of. If this hip belt was any other design, I don't think the K4 would pack the way that it does, but having that longer section, it really does well. Here's a test that I ran that really shows how well it can stabilize awkward loads. One thing I've decided to test with the Exo K4 5000 bag here is I've put a ground blind in this that I'm going to go set out here, and what it does is I have the weight way up above my head, which is really going to exaggerate if I have like an elk or a larger animal's hind quarter in there getting off balance as you're walking along. Putting that weight way up there is going to exaggerate that and help me see, for testing purposes, the way that the hip belt and shoulder strap and frame kind of work together. And what I'm finding with this is because this hip belt right here is going to be longer on the hips, basically go down farther towards your butt, it's actually stabilizing the load on that left to right, and the backwards motion, it catches and starts to apply that pressure lower in your butt area to keep the bag from feeling like you're gonna tip over, which allows you to keep moving forward, staying steady and upright, instead of having to fight with your core and your thighs to keep yourself, stable. The shoulder straps I've found to be a good density of foam. I think they're a little bit shorter than like the Stone Glacier pack. I prefer the straps coming down a little bit farther. However, once you do get them adjusted, I found that this shoulder strap can hold a lot of weight. It keeps the buckle from poking into my ribs, and it provides enough support and curvature around my body that I can still get the binoculars and all my accessories that I want, rangefinder up here on my chest. One cool thing that Exo has done is the stitching right here is supposed to be roughly around the collarbone height or collarbone area. So when you throw the pack on, get the waist belt and everything situated, you can look and see if that is a couple inches one way or the other. You easily take the pack off, and then you can move by measurement right here up or down the Velcro to make that corresponding adjustment, and it makes fitting the pack way quicker. The other thing I really like about the shoulder straps, and I'll show you from the back side, is gonna be how they attach into the pack. There's this MOLLE section on both sides, and then this clip that pokes through. This provides a very secure shoulder strap, so if I'm lifting this pack up off the ground with a heavy load in it, I do not feel like the shoulder straps are gonna pop loose. It's one of the most secure shoulder strap setups that there is on the market I've been able to find. Gives you a lot of confidence that the pack's not gonna fall apart as you're carrying a 80, 90 pound pack load up off the ground to throw it onto your back. And it's also really quick for adjustment because you just pull this, poke it through, and then you undo the Velcro down here and make the appropriate adjustment that you want. Seal it back down, poke your clip back through the MOLLE, and you're good to go. All right, let's move to the last two things on the frame. So first is gonna be our carbon stays. They changed the way that these hook into the frame on the K4 pack. On some of the K3s, people were experiencing some squeaking noises, and so far, they've seemed to totally eliminate that issue. I've carried this through the rain, dirt, mud, snow, hot weather with a lot of dust. Nothing has seemed to be able to make it in and start squeaking with that carbon. So I think they've eliminated that issue. This thing is really, really quiet. When I'm moving it, the only thing I hear is, Velcro or the material itself. There's nothing with the stays, and I have yet to wash this pack, and it's been through all sorts of dirt and stuff. And then the other thing is the straps. So the Exo frame has these two straps in the middle right here that are hooked just specifically to the frame. Those would go under your bag. And then these two straps on top and then the one down here on the bottom, these will hook up to the bag to secure your bag, or if you take the bag off like I have it now, they'll help secure the top and bottom portion of your load. Now this is the only drawback and advantage. So these two straps are really good for holding meat to the bag tightly, and it secures that load. I was just doing a pack comparison video where I put a elongated 60-pound bag of sand into the pack, and this was by far the sturdiest feeling. Like that weight would not shift because these two being hooked right to the frame really secure that weight. However, it does not have a built-in load crib like some of the other packs do, and that I think is a drawback. They do offer that as an accessory, but I really wish that it came with the pack, because I find if you're gonna pack it like this, that is a necessity to have. It really brings that load up and helps make sure it can't slide down at all. And so I wish that was something included. Now that I've told you why I think the K4 frame has the best load-bearing capabilities on the market, let's talk about the 5000 bag. So the 5000 bag is gonna have a lid on it. This is gonna have two top pockets, which have plenty of storage up there and can easily be taken off if you wanna run it without this. Flip that off, pull out some straps, and that'll bring you to the dry bag portion. The roll top dry bag can extend up really high to give you a ton of storage in this. It's very waterproof, kind of a Cordura material. And on the back side here, you have a designated waterproof pocket, which is going to be for like a water bladder or something like that if you want to slip that in there and not have to worry about if it pops getting everything else wet. On the front section of this bag, you have 2 cinch down straps, and then you have 2 straps on each side. Quick note, these straps are an ingenious design because they pull up at an angle. There's only a couple packs on the market that use this design. I don't know why every single pack on the market doesn't do this, because when a pack has a strap that pulls straight across, it enables that load of the bag to drop down and sink down. When you're pulling up against it, it fights against gravity and holds that weight higher up on the back, making the load more stable and easier to pack. And this is kind of one of the things that describes Exo as a company. If you were to ask me, all the little things add up to the big things. This is a small detail that they paid attention to, fixed the issue, and added it to the packs to make sure that you're getting the best load-bearing and stable pack on the market. And moving back to the very front, you've got this front pocket with a stretch fabric, good for rain gear or whatever you want to throw in there. Very quick access, and it keeps your stuff from getting through to the inside where you might have sleeping bags. You've got a front horseshoe pocket that will open up and expose whatever you have on the inside. And then there's a small pocket right here on the flip out lid portion. That will, be good for keys, whatever you want to throw in there. And then that will give you the rest of the inside of your bag, which is a ton of space to be able to put things. But the well thought out and cool features of the 5000 bag don't stop there. Turn it over to either side. You release these 2 buckles, and you have a side zippered pocket that opens up so that you could fit a spotting scope or other goods, tripods, down the side right here. And then they have a very ingenious pouch over here on the side, which can double for holding your water bottle, as well as a small diagonal front pocket that you can reach while you have the pack on and get things such as a headlight. That is a really cool feature that adds on both sides, so that as you're walking, if you need to get into those dump pouches, get snacks, headlights, whatever, it keeps the weight off the hip belt if you want to keep that more minimalist like I do. I just run a firearm on this side and then keep the accessories right there, but they're still quick and accessible. Well, to sum it all up, the Exo K4 with the 5000 bag is one of my absolute favorite pack choices on the market to date. Whether you're carrying 5 pounds or 105 pounds in this backpack, it will carry the load, it'll be stable, and it'll give you the most amount of comfort possible for the respective weight load that you're carrying. This pack can hold rifles, bows very well, and is one of my favorite picks. So if you're looking for a new backpack in 2023 to the 2024 season, I would definitely consider the Exo K4. If you like this review, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel for more content like this coming out soon. Thank you for watching.